Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. So on today's video, we are going to speak about how you can make more salary. If you get more salary, you can invest more, save more, enjoy your life more. So from that perspective, a very important video. Now I have curated this video for two different set of audiences. First would be school-going students, college-going students, young professionals who have just recently started their careers. What are some of the key things that they need to keep in mind in order to make good money and good salary? Second set of audiences would be slightly more mature audience who have been in the job market for a little while. So what specific steps and strategies they can use to make more salary literally from tomorrow onwards. So that is the agenda for the video. You can skip to the relevant section depending on which category of audience you fall in. So accordingly, watch the video. So let's get the analysis started. And first, let me have a brief conversation with people who are young or on the younger side, still deciding whether to go to college or not, still writing their board exams or are in college, thinking about a master's degree, or young professionals who are trying to go abroad. So what are some key things they need to do and keep in mind to make more salary? So here is the most important thing you need to know in order to make higher salary. It's a very conventional notion. The conventional notion is that if you can go to the best possible college you can get into, please do that, because still the best way of earning higher salary is to go to a good college. When I say go to a good college, it should be good degree also. It's not as if that you're going to leading Delhi University College but doing Sanskrit honors. No disrespect to Sanskrit honors per se. But from a job market perspective, that degree is not awarded that much compared to business degree, economics or finance related degrees. So that is the honest analysis on this. Now, many young people reach out to me. They say that, Akshat, should I drop out of college? Should I start my own business, become an entrepreneur? Because there are like so many unicorns that are coming up. And probably I will also be able to make a unicorn in another 3 years and I will retire. Now, I'm not saying that you can't do it, but there are only literally handful of people who have done that at a very young age. It's a myth that you are better off not having formal education to start your own business and entrepreneurial journey. That is not correct. There have been several studies that have pointed out to the fact that the better your education, the more chances are that you will be able to build a unicorn. There will be people who will give me examples around Mark Zuckerberg, that Mark Zuckerberg dropped out of college. But please understand that Mark Zuckerberg also got into Harvard in the first place. So please keep that in mind. Very, very important point for you to understand that college is still very, very important. So I was Googling the news, and this is an article around IIT and their placement scenario right now. So this news just came in and it says that IIT attracts 9,000 jobs in the first phase of campus hiring, including 160 offers of rupees 1 crore plus annual salary. Now, on the flip side, the proponents of college will say that, you know what, if you go to IIT, your life is set. Now, this again is not true, right? So I'm speaking about two different spectrums. One set of people who say that college is completely pointless, and the other set of people who say that once you get into a certain type of college, your life is set. Both these arguments are not completely right. You need to find a balance. So here is the reality that if you go to an IIT, if you go to an IIM, yes, you will get a kickstart or a head start in your career. No doubt about that. There will be a lot of opportunities or doors that will be unlocked for you. What you do with those opportunities really depends on your skill set. What are you trying to do? More to the point about this particular report, these are fancy way of putting 1 crore package, 2 crore package, 3 crore package. Probably this is not the right way. And I will analyze a couple of placement reports for you also to help you understand this point better. But before I go into talking about the placement reports and proving these salary numbers to you, there are a couple of quick summary points that I would like to present. First, in order to make the most money as a youngster, try to get into a good college because it can open up a lot of doors for you. So this is the first key takeaway that you need to understand. Second, also do not believe in this entire narrative that, you know what, if I go to IIT, I will make 1 crore, 2 crore packages. Colleges like IIT definitely give you a head start, but it's not as if that your life is set. With that perspective in mind, let us try to develop a realistic understanding of how beneficial is it to go and attend a college and what type of salary will you get and should you be happy with that salary or not. Okay, so I frequently get the question that, Akshat, I want to make 25-30 lakh rupees per year. That should be my starting salary. Can I make it by going to a college? The answer is yes and no. So how is it a no? So you need to understand 2-3 points. First is that you need to understand the difference between in-hand salary and CTC. So this is what a CTC looks like, and CTC includes basic salary, HRA, basic allowance, travel allowance, medical, communication, PF, pension fund, and bunch of other different variable pay. So technically, whenever you start seeing things like that, hey, this college gave like 1 crore salary or 2 crore salary, you first and foremost, most likely it is CTC. So that is not correct. That's the first key thing that you need to keep in mind. Second, in many colleges, the placement reports are completely fudged, right? So you need to be very, very careful that the placement reports are correct. I'm not saying IITs are fudging it or IIMs are fudging it. No, they are not. These things are audited. But if you're going to a good private college, you need to be very mindful and read the career placement reports properly. So let us come to a realistic number as to how much salary you can actually make if you're going to a tier 1 MBA program in India. Now, why have I picked MBA program? Because their career placement reports are most transparent. It's very easy to pick. So I can tell you a few key things that you need to look at. If you're trying to take admissions in Delhi University or bunch of different colleges, you can use the same parameters that I'm speaking about. So let me first and foremost take you through the audited report of IIM Ahmedabad. So IIM Ahmedabad is a very trustable college, no doubt about that. And why is it trustable? Because first and foremost, like the legacy, brand, etc. Also, their report or placement report is audited. Now, this is a company. It is called as Brickwork Analytics Private Limited. They have done the auditing of the report. So this is credible from that particular perspective. And what are some of the key data points that you must look at, right? So this is the entire table of content. If you scroll through it, you will see a bunch of different things. So what are some key things that you need to be 100% clear about? So first and foremost, please check if the placement reports are audited or not, whichever college you are picking. If the placement report is not audited, then that is not a trustable report. Now let's move on to analyzing the sector-wise classification or where students are getting placed, because this allows us to understand which industries is absorbing students from this particular college. So for example, at IIM Ahmedabad, 60 students got into banking finance institutes. 159 got into consulting. Now, if you do a little bit of digging on IIM Ahmedabad, for example, I just looked at lists of recruiters at IIM Ahmedabad. You will clearly see that Accenture Strategy, BCG, Kearny, Bain & Company, Aditya Birla Group, these companies, Accenture Strategy, BCG, Kearny, Bain & Company, they will fall in which domain? They will fall in consulting domain. So a lot of people from IIM Ahmedabad are going into consulting, right? So next, let us check the numbers and you can do the similar analysis and figure out who the recruiters are at this particular college. Now let's take a look at the salary numbers, which is the most juicy part. So for example, in consulting, the minimum salary is 16 lakh, maximum is 40, median is 23.73. And 159 people got this median salary of 23.73 lakhs. But please note that this is cash component. This is not the CTC, right? Many colleges will quote CTC. So let me show you that also. So if you are going to IIM Ahmedabad, you can safely assume that majority of the people are getting into consulting. You might also end up working at BCG, Bain, McKinsey type of companies because literally half the batch is getting placed there. And the average type of salary number comes out to be 24 lakhs, roughly 24 lakhs. So this is the approximate salary you can expect to get at tier 1 colleges in India. I am not picking any negative colleges here because a lot of shady placement reports are created every now and then by business schools. And if I show it on public forums, it will become a legal case and all that stuff. So I don't want to get into all that. So let me show you one more audited report of a private business school. Now this was very difficult for me to find. I was finally able to find it by the same institute. So this is called as Masters Union Business School. And why have I picked the report? Very simply because again, if you take a look at the auditor of this report, it is Brickworks Analytics Private Limited. This is the same auditor who audited the IIM Ahmedabad placement report. Now, what are the pros and cons, right? So for example, so if you take a look at the average CTC of tier 1 business schools, this is CTC, not the cash component. So CTC of Masters Union is 21.12. This is CTC. IIM Ahmedabad, IIM Bangalore, IIM Calcutta, ISB, and different things are represented. Now you would say that, Akshat, you know what? How is it that IIM Ahmedabad, the salary is lower from a bunch of other different schools? The reason is fairly simple, that the chances are that at IIM Ahmedabad, the students who are getting into IIM Ahmedabad, they might be on the lower end of the work end spectrum. For example, a lot of freshers might be joining IIM Ahmedabad compared to FMS or IIM Bangalore or Masters Union or IIM Calcutta. Right? So this is a very important point. So the first key point that you need to remember about placement report is that is it audited? Number 2, please understand the difference between CTC and cash compensation. CTC is usually 15-20% inflated than the cash component. Then third and finally, what is the base group that you're comparing it to? For example, if you're comparing IIM Ahmedabad with ISB, more experienced people get into ISB. IIM Ahmedabad, less experienced people get into IIM Ahmedabad. Fourth key thing, you need to do an estimate of who the recruiters are. So here, if we analyze Masters Union Career Placement Report, here is the domain-wise recruitment offer. So people are getting placed as BCG, Bain, McKinsey, EY, Thoucentric, these are all consulting companies. And average CTC is 30.72 lakhs, right? So this is CTC component that they are quoting. But if you go and check on Glassdoor, you will see typical McKinsey company consultant salary is roughly 23 lakhs. Why the difference? Because some business schools quote CTC. For example, ISB also quotes CTC, because many universities quote CTC and some universities quote cash in hand component. So please be very mindful. So this 30 lakh comes out to be roughly 23-24 lakh from that perspective. Now, when it comes to IIMs or IITs, we have a lot of trust, no doubt about that. If you are moving to private colleges, for example, there are a bunch of good private colleges in India. Some examples being BITS Pilani, Dhirubhai Ambani Institute of Information Technology, DAIICT, Ashoka University, Masters Union. These all are good private colleges. But if you are moving outside this domain, please check the validity of the placement report, because you might take admission in some college thinking that, hey, I'll be getting like very high salary. But turns out when you go to campus, pay all the fees, you realize that, you know what, I've been tricked. So please do not let that happen to you. Please study the placement report. Super easy to get access to all this placement data. Verify all these different points. Check who the recruiters are and then go and verify it on Glassdoor. For example, let me pick another data point from this report. So EdTech, we see Unacademy, right? And so let us try to find out in what position people have been recruited from this college at Unacademy. So here we have Senior Category Manager, Unacademy, right? So let us try to figure out the salary for Senior Category Manager. So I literally type out Senior Category Manager. So I Google Senior Category Manager, and Senior Category Manager ranges from 10 lakh to 25 lakhs with average being 18.5. So this looks realistic. So people after graduating from good private MBA colleges also can get these type of salaries. So now apply the same method whether you are taking admission in bachelor's degree or whether you are taking admission in master's degree. Try to go to a really good program where the salary is validated and you can get sense of the placement report. This is literally the number one way and the fastest way of making good salary. Now comes the second point that Akshat, I have heard that people who study abroad, for example, you studied abroad, you went to INSEAD, you ended up working at good companies and made good money. So should I consider doing it? That's a personal decision. There are pros and cons to studying abroad. In case you want, comment below. I'll make a separate video on that topic. But to cut the long story short, there are a few key things to remember in case you are going abroad with the aspirations of making good amount of money. Point number one, please pick a really good course and really good university. Why? Let me try to explain that point by giving you a comparison between MBA and MPP program. So MBA, all of us are aware, there is more recruiter awareness. And if you go do an MBA from a top tier university like INSEAD, Wharton, Harvard, Stanford, then you will get good salary. No doubt about that. Getting placed as Indians also is easy, not a problem, even in US European economies. On the flip side, if you go and do an MPP course, Masters in Public Policy course from a top tier university like Columbia, then getting placed post MPP is much harder compared to getting placed post MBA. Why? Because the recruiter awareness of MPP program is on the lower end. So this is the first key thing that you must remember. Pick good college, good course. Number 2 point. Please compute the ROI, return on investment, because the initial investment amount is high. Therefore, so I generally tell people that please understand that your returns will only get maximized if you're going to a top 15-20 college in the US or top 5-7 college in Europe or Canada. Don't go beyond that because people look for shortcuts that, hey, you know what, that can I go and apply and study in some exotic location in Western Europe? It does not even ask for GMAT, GRE. Please don't go to such colleges. You will lose a lot of money, lot of time, and there might be no job opportunities for you. Number 3 point in terms of studying abroad is that please go to a location which is English friendly or accepts Indians. For example, Canada is a good location. Canada, US, Australia, New Zealand, these are all good locations where you can go and study. But if you go to, let's say, Germany and do an MBA, it might be tough for you to get placed because of language barriers. One more important point that you need to keep in mind is the purchasing power parity. Many a times we get impressed that, you know what, people are making 1.5 crore salary in Los Angeles. Now, if you are going and living in Los Angeles, the amount of expenses that you are going to undertake will be very high. So from that perspective, do a PPP cost comparison also. I'm not saying that that matrix is completely right. There are a lot of issues with that, but it at least allows you to get a basic sense that 1.5 crore in the US is not equivalent to 1.5 crores in India. So please remember these key points before studying abroad. Now, the second half of the video is curated towards people who are in the job market already, who already are undertaking a job. What are some of the key strategies that they can use to make more salary? So here are 4 specific points that I would suggest. Number 1, please renegotiate your salary, because unless you ask, you will not get. I will repeat that statement. Unless you ask, you will not get. Now, what ends up happening is that many a time we work with the assumption that if we are doing good work, our boss will recognize our hard work and we will be paid more salary. It doesn't work that way majority of the times. You need to be proactive in terms of renegotiating your salary. Just because I'm telling you today that go and renegotiate, it does not mean that tomorrow you show up and you say that, renegotiate my salary. No, please don't do that. There is a proper timing to renegotiate your salary. A proper timing would be that, for example, if your appraisals have been good, if you have worked on a critical project, if you have received really good feedback from the client. So once there is a positive wave in your favor, then you go and renegotiate your salary. There are higher odds that your request would be accepted. Second, go by the principle of value addition. So value addition simply means that you take a lot of initiative for the next 6 months in terms of adding value to everyone. For example, organize workshops for your peers. If you're good at teaching Excel, go and teach Excel to your peers, right? Word will automatically reach your boss that Akshat is taking a lot of initiative in teaching Excel. So that is a good sign, right? You're added value to your peers. Similarly, go and add value to your clients. Go above and beyond what is expected. Similarly, ask your boss for more work. In case you can do that, make yourself valuable, or at least give the impression that you are valuable. That is super, super important, right? Now, you need to demand value also sometimes. What happens is that many a times, and tell me in the comment box if this happens, that many a times you do excellent work, but your boss takes credit. So please don't allow that to happen. I'm not saying that go and fight with him for credit. That will not be right, but be a little bit tactical, be a little bit diplomatic there. At least the good work that you're doing, it should reach other people's ear, right? So please be very clear. A simple way of doing that would be that whenever you're doing something nice or when you're going above and beyond, just CC everyone and send an email that, hey, I hope you enjoyed that training workshop that was organized yesterday. If there's any feedback, please give it to me, and CC everyone, right? So everyone would know that you organized such a workshop. So simple, smart way, right? Now comes point 3, that please try to make yourself irreplaceable. The only way to make yourself irreplaceable is that if you keep on learning more complex, complicated stuff with time, and you keep on picking concepts and things about where the world is going. Very, very important. For example, these days, again, please don't start spamming the comment section. We are moving towards crypto / blockchain / web 3.0 / NFT / metaverse. All these are new things that are coming up in the market. Please learn about all these things, even if you're not an investor. Very, very important concepts. If you're a knowledge player in things that are shaping up the world, you will become very irreplaceable. Fourth and final point, please create more options for you. So every now and then, do interview with other companies. Not a problem there. Keep sending your resume to a bunch of different companies. Please do not get married to your organization, so to say, right? These days, with any problem, organizations fire their employees with a blink of an eye. So please don't depend on your organization. Always create some kind of options. Now, options could be that you're interviewing with other companies. Option B could be that you're creating a side business. Option 3 could be that you're writing your own book. It could be a bunch of different things, but always keep your options ready, because if you have options, you will have more voice in terms of going and renegotiating your salary and getting higher return for your work. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please press the like button and I will see you tomorrow.